So today we are starting with our sixth chapter of the book Krishna Consciousness, the Matchless Gift. I've shared the PDF on group. You may open chapter 6 and read with me. Transcending designations and problems. Let's see. Krishna consciousness is easily achieved by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, but only some are fortunate enough to have the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and his disciplic succession. Now, what does that mean? See, this knowledge that we are gaining, this knowledge is profound. It is not easily accessible. I mean, it is easily accessible, but you will not find people following Krishna consciousness in their life. Just go back to your old days when you were not in Krishna consciousness. Have you ever seen any devotees? I mean, that case is exceptional if you were a devotee from your very childhood. But if you were not Krishna consciousness, if you were not Krishna consciousness from your very childhood, then just remember those days. Did you ever saw any person near you practicing Krishna consciousness in their life? I mean, I never saw any people in my life. I only saw people, people who were busy for getting higher studies, for getting higher degrees, qualifications, so that they may get a nice job, then they may get settled, marriage and all those things. Only these things you know, I have been seeing since my childhood. And same thing, this is natural that whatever we see around ourselves, so we think that, yeah, these things, whatever these things, this is the only purpose of one's life. So people are busy earning so much of money, getting their desired jobs. So the purpose of life is this only, that we run like this throughout our lives so that we may get a nice job or earn so much of money. Only this is the purpose of life. But this is not true. And that's why it is said that it is like Krishna consciousness is very easily achieved by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, but only some are fortunate enough to have the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and his disciplic succession. Why? Because this knowledge is so profound. And you will find very rare people practicing it. There will be few people who will accept this process of Krishna consciousness, and there will be extremely rare people who will strive to follow this path, this process throughout their lives. So transcending designations and problems means to cross these things are limited. People, they are assuming themselves with so and so designations, and they are so much entangled in different problems of their lives. So transcending these things, crossing these things, going beyond from these things, or let's say rising above from these designations and problems, because these things are not very nice things. And one gets to know this when they get the association of devotees, they get into this process of Krishna consciousness. According to Bhagavad Gita, Manushyanam sahasreshu कश्चिद् यतति सिद्धये यततम् अपि सिद्धानां कश्चिन् मम वेत्ति तत्त्वतः मनुष्याणां सहस्रेषु कश्चिद् यतति सिद्धये यततमपि सिद्धानां कश्चिन् मां वेत्ति तत्त्वतः. This is very, very amazing shloka, and I love this shloka. This shloka tells devotees, I mean, Krishna is telling this, Krishna is saying this in Bhagavad Gita. So, in this shloka, Krishna is praising those people who are there in this process, who are following this auspicious, profound process of Krishna consciousness. So, Krishna is praising them, praising those people, those devotees. That out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Bhagavad Gita 7.3. God realization is not possible for animals or for persons who are almost animals, or for animals in the shape of human beings. So, Srila Prabhupada is saying this means you will find people around you. I mean, you will see that they are in the costume of human beings, but they are actually not acting like human beings. They are almost animals, or animals in the shape of human beings. Why? Because they were not endeavoring for the perfection of life, and they are busy in those four animalistic things: eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. So God realization is not possible for such people who are not striving to transcend their selves from these materialistic or from animalistic things. So how God realization can be possible for those people who are not striving for it? Or even, okay, this can be understood that they are not striving for it in innocency. But if someone is preaching them, then at least they should understand that why are we wasting our time like this? People, they are aware of this thing, that this human form of life is very precious and it is rare to get birth in human form of life. But they are not contemplating on this thing, that why this human form of life have been given to us. For what purpose? So this is really a deep point, which one can understand only when he hears an association of devotees. And you know what? Uh, it is very, it is difficult for people to grab this, that the purpose of this human form of life is God realization. That's why you should make them chant. I'm like, again and again, I'm focusing on this thing because I am trying to follow this, and I'm observing that it is really working. I'm just focusing on, making people chant at least for a few weeks. And then later, gradually, I will ask them to read books and stuff like that. So, there is one Mataji. She have been chanting 5 rounds with me. I mean, we have decided that we will be maintaining a streak. We will be maintaining a streak. We will be chanting 5 rounds every single day and throughout our day, whenever we get time. And then we will notify each other that, yeah, I have completed my 5 rounds. So now she was asking me that, where do you live? I mean, we are friends now. We are good friends now. So I told her I'm from Jaipur. So she said, okay, I'm visiting Jaipur and I would love to meet you. And I got very happy and I expressed my happiness through my words to her that, wow, you're coming to Jaipur. I would love to meet you. I was also looking for this opportunity to meet you in person and I would love to invite you for a lunch. So she was very happy. Now, as we'll be meeting, I will be gifting her one small book of Srila Prabhupada. I'll be giving her some prasadam. I mean, I'm telling you some tricks, some tips which one should follow, which I am following to cultivate people in Krishna consciousness. Today in afternoon class, we'll be discussing this point and let me put it here also. Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 18th chapter, he says that any person, okay, let's not go directly on that point. Let me discuss few more points. See, His Holiness Radha, not Radha, Govind Maharaj, I'm forgetting his name. His Holiness Vrindavan Chand Maharaj, he was saying that, reaching at bhav star or prem star is very much difficult, sorry. It is very much difficult to reach at that stage and then going back to Godhead. It is very much difficult. So one can, you know, he can easily get that stage if he hears the transcendental pastimes of Krishna with gopis. But now, we are not at that level to understand those pastimes. So this is also one difficulty. So Krishna is telling one more way to go back to him in Bhagavad Gita. And Srila Prabhupada himself tells this, that just by reading Bhagavad Gita, one can go back to Godhead. Reading Bhagavad Gita means reading in disciplic succession for sure. Otherwise, we will not be understanding that who Krishna is. People will, you can find people reading Bhagavad Gita, but they are actually not practicing it in their practical lives and they do not accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, reading Bhagavad Gita means reading in disciplic succession, hearing it in guidance, and practicing it in your life. So, one can go back to Godhead if he resonates Bhagavad Gita in his life. And in 18th chapter, one very amazing formula Krishna is telling, that any person who gives this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to my devotees. My devotees means who have faith that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Non-devotees will never hear Bhagavad Gita. They think that any ordinary person has wrote Bhagavad Gita, but this is not true. So yes, Krishna is saying that any person who gives this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to my devotees, he will get at that stage, para bhakti, and he will come back to me. So now see, we should really strive to pass this knowledge to other people. And you will see, if you will put your little intelligence, not much, I'm really observing this thing, that then you will be able to understand Bhagavad Gita very nicely. This for sure. So it becomes very easy. So this formula is very amazing and we should really strive to give this knowledge to other people. So yes, I was telling that now that Mataji will come in Jaipur, I'll be meeting her and I will be giving her book, Srila Prabhupada book. I will be giving her this book only and then I will be reading it with her. And it is very easy to discuss books like this. We have already covered almost 3 books. This is our 3rd book. And you can easily discuss these books with other people. Simply if you are discussing one page every single day, then that is also all enough. So we are here not to, uh, to deliver other people. We are here to deliver ourselves. We are discussing. One should discuss this content, this auspicious knowledge of Bhagavad Gita for his own purification, for his own benefit. And this way he'll definitely go back to Godhead. Contemporary civilization is by and large an assembly of animals because, as stated before, it operates on the basis of the animal propensities. The birds and beasts arise early in the morning and busy themselves trying to find food and sex and trying to defend themselves. At night, they look for shelter, and in the morning, they fly to a tree to find nuts and fruits. Similarly, in New York City, great hordes of people travel from one island to another by ferry boat or wait for subways in order to go to the office for the purpose of finding food. How is this an advancement over animal life? Although the ferry and subway are always crowded and many people have to travel 40 or 50 meals for bread, the birds are free to fly from one tree to another. I mean, are you getting this? For the purpose of finding food means they are traveling for the sake of earning money, and from that money, what will they do? They'll get some food. So, see, some very amazing point we'll discuss here. Yes. So, one point that Srila Prabhupada has mentioned here is that the birds and beasts arise early in the morning and busy themselves trying to find food. See, it is really not enough to wake up early in morning. You will find many people waking up early in the morning, but they are not giving their time to God. They are not investing their time to do something for God realization or self realization. You will find people waking up early morning, practicing yoga. I was also one of them. I was also one of those people. I used to wake up at 3 a.m. for practicing yoga. In my mind, I used to plan that I will be practicing yoga while moon bathing, under the rays of moon. I will be practicing yoga and it will benefit me, my body. I'm this body, this nice body. I was thinking like this those days. And this was all foolishness. We are not this body. So, yes, I was doing all those things, all those rubbish things that time. So, are you understanding this point that it is simply it is simply not enough to wake up early morning and doing all those things? Because human form of life is not meant for only polishing this body, which we are actually not. Only in this human form of life, we can actually feed our souls. We can actually understand that we are souls, we are fragmental part of Krishna, and we are not this body. See animals, how helpless they are. They can never think that they are not those bodies. Dog, in his consciousness, he's very much absorbed that I am a dog. I am this body. And my only business is to, look after some food or to have some, uh, whatever, defending and all things, to have some, all those things which is mentioned here, trying to defend themselves. Have you ever seen this? I often see even birds defend themselves. I often see, like, here outside my room, I see birds, they consume their whatever grains and they fight. So they try to defend themselves. So even birds or animals, they know this thing naturally. And I was really, when, yesterday when I was about to sleep, I was really contemplating on these things, that this is so true, that animals are not sent to any universities or schools to gain knowledge about these four things. Is it not? We have already read this thing, but if we really meditate on these things, then we will come to know that how fortunate we are that we got to know about this knowledge. This is really very profound, and people are not thinking about these topics. So I was really pondering on this, that yeah, this is so true. I mean, I was thinking, am I really on the right path? Then when I was thinking about these animalistic things, then I was sure I was sure about this, that yeah, this is so true, that animals, they really don't have to visit any universities or schools to gain this knowledge about these four things. But if we are also engrossed in these things, then we will be like animals for sure. Not like animals, we will be animals. So this human form of life is definitely not meant for these four things. So Srila Prabhupada is telling here that just like these animals and birds, they strive for all these four things. They look after, they find their food, they defend themselves, they look for a shelter, and all those things. So same way, shelter, so they may take some rest at night, sleeping. So same way, people are also doing like this. And in fact, one more amazing thing what Srila Prabhupada has mentioned here is that in subways and in whatever trains or stuff in which they travel, they are very crowded. They are always crowded. And like many people have to travel like this, 40 to 50 meals for bread. But birds are free to fly from one tree to another. Means animals and birds, they are also like doing these four animalistic things because they are meant for these things only, but they really don't have to work hard for these things. And we people, we are also striving for these four things, and we are so foolish than animals, and we really work so hard to get those animalistic things in more polished way. The only difference is that those are animals, and people who are busy getting those four things, they are polished animals. Real civilization is not concerned simply with man's animal needs, but with enabling man to understand his relationship with God, the Supreme Father. This is real civilization, which is not concerned about, I mean, modern civilization is only concerned about how to do these four things. But real civilization is to enable man to understand his relationship with Supreme Father. One may learn about his relationship with God by any process. through Christianity, through the Vedic literatures, or through the Quran. But in any case, it must be learned. So, yes, one should understand this thing that there are three kinds of people. They have three kinds of, basically, they are influenced by three modes of material nature: mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. And according to their consciousness, according to whatever mode of material nature they are influenced with, there are different scriptures. So there are 18 Purans. Yes. So six Purans are for those people who are influenced by the mode of goodness. Six Purans are for those people who are influenced by the mode of passion. And six Purans are for those people who are influenced by the mode of ignorance. So, according to their consciousness, there are different Purans quoted in Vedic literature only. So, yes, people can get to know about his real identity, about God, with any of these Purans. But in any case, it must be learned, because one can learn these things in human form of life only. The purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement is not to make Christians into Hindus or Hindus into Christians, but to inform everyone that the duty of a human being is to understand his relationship with God. So you will find many people arguing on these points also, that we are this, we are that, we belong to this religion, we belong to that religion. Okay, whatever religion you belong to, but you should strive to understand your relationship with God. You should strive to do uh, things for the God realization, for self realization. And this, the purpose of this Krishna consciousness is this only, that people become aware about God, about their identities, their real identities. We are finishing our session here, and we'll be continuing it in our next session if Krishna is willing tomorrow. We'll stop here now. Thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.